How are we doing today?
Good. Great. We're here.
Welcome to Unity of Billings, Sunday, October 19th. It's a nice chilly morning. We will start off as we normally do, singing Surely the Presence. If you want to sing along with us, please. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can feel the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Our Sunday services are being live streamed. Please help support Unity's ministry. You can donate by going to PayPal at unitybillings@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, unityofbillings.org, and click on the donate button. We have busy bags available in the back for anyone with children. I know we brought ours today, and she is already pretty busy. Please return those at the end of the service. Our meditation room is available from 9:30 a.m. on Sundays, Monday through and Tuesday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. Coming up, we have the Step into the Magic Metaphysics Expo. That's with Marcia, correct?
Yes.
Yep. So that always is a nice thing to come around. The whole church is vibrant and busy, so we'd welcome you to come on in.
And it's a fundraiser for us.
Gotcha. It's also a fundraiser for us this year. Okay. Oh, whoops. We got the wrong slide. We got the wrong slide up there. I have the right one in front of me here. Today is Leslie Fisher speaking on the search for significance. October 26th, we have Reverend Edie Weigel, the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, Part 1, which also leads us to November 2nd, Reverend Edie Weigel again, the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, Part 2. Edie always does very well. 2-parter would be very nice to have you attend both. Then November 9th, Reverend Phil Zemke will be in. And once we're done with our technical difficulties, we'll go ahead and do the Unity Peace Song. Let's see if I can help.
Yeah, we got her. All right. Here, we'll back up really quick so you can see that it's actually Leslie.
All right.
Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel, is already here, is already real. There is no one out there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There is a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me, there's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence. When the world looks dark and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you. I will always be. I am one. I am unity. We are one. We are unity.
Always like taking that musical step in the middle here to kind of center and bring our energies together. So next we're going to go ahead and light the Christ candle, representing the indwelling Christ within us all. And then we'll go ahead and read today's daily. Oh, we are out of order here.
Hold on, no, you're not.
Okay,
I have fat fingers.
no problem. Go ahead and read today's daily word. Today's word is forgiveness. And if you will affirm with me, forgiveness is my path to peace. Occasionally, I may decide that a transgression or mistake is simply unforgivable. However, when I maintain a spiritual perspective, I realize forgiveness is key to moving on from painful interactions and is an important part of my spiritual path. Releasing unforgiveness may be one of the hardest things I will do, but I trust there will be peace in my heart and clarity in mind when I do it. Whether I struggle to forgive another or myself, I trust there is no judgment or condemnation in spirit. Whatever the error, the divine presence within me help me transcend it. There is no pain, no hurt that is greater or more enduring than God. This is the comfort and promise that helps me forgive and know lasting peace. Luke 6:37. Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. You can affirm again with me. Forgiveness is my path to peace. Then if we can affirm our Unity Foundation principle, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. As well as our Unity of Billings affirmation. Through divine wisdom and grace, Unity of Billings is vibrant, healing, and inclusive. And if we can affirm our love offering together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I am, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And then Leslie has chosen some special music for us, then I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Oh, no, yeah. No, it's good. Oh, no.
My heart
In my life, I have been searching for something, but you were my dream. You're perfect, you're golden, you're the light, you're perfect, you're golden, you're my light, when I breathe, when I swallow, caress I feel, when I listen, I hear the most beautiful music I'm knowing. You're perfect, you're golden, you're the light, you're perfect, you're golden, you're my light, my love. When I'm sad and dark, shallow and then down, when I'm trying my best to put one foot in front of the other, you're perfect, you're golden, you're the light of my life, you're my love from forever, and your reflection, I'm perfect, so I'll be looking at you to keep holding this in my reflection.
Alrighty, thank you very much for that. Take a moment to bless the love offering. Thank you all for your generosity in supporting the ministry. Appreciate letting the Spirit flow through and all the blessings that come with that. And now, I think you've all seen enough of me. It's time for Leslie to come up and talk about the search for significance.
Right?
It's allowed.
It's allowed. I'll do this now. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Yep, can you hear me? Okay. Better?
Better.
Okay. It's hard to tell from right here. It sounds the same, basically. The search for significance. I don't know. I was reading about Pompeii, listening to a podcast about Pompeii, and it kind of got me thinking how we, scribble our name on a wall somewhere. Maybe no one will ever see it, but they might. And if they do, they'll know we were there at some point. And it's just, it's snowballed this whole thing. And then I was listening to that song, and it said, at the very end there, in your reflection, I'm perfect. And those two things came together, and I was like, that's the talk. That's it right there. So here we go. Have you ever found yourself irritated, maybe by someone else's apparent need to be special or different? They're just trying too hard. Or maybe you've been the person trying so hard to stand out, to be unique, to be seen as special. On whichever side of the struggle you've been on, and I'm willing to bet you've been on each side on different occasions, rest assured, this is a very human thing. We have always looked out upon the vastness of the universe, felt small and insignificant, and then tried our hardest to scream into the void, I am here. This phenomenon has manifested throughout the ages in at least one way that we would all recognize, which is tagging, like I was talking about. If you're not familiar with that expression, that's the scribble on the bathroom wall that says John was here. It's the hundreds of names etched into Pompeii's pillar out the way. It's the graffiti that still exists on the walls of Pompeii, perfectly preserved in the volcanic ash. It's the name of a devout visitor on the walls of the Temple of Karnak, having done its intended job of letting us know that a person, a regular human of flesh and bone like us, was alive and stood there, shouting across millennia to let us know they existed. Just they were there. It seems like we've looked to the world around us to confirm or deny just how special or not we are for as long as we've had consciousness. Well, where does this need to stand out come from? There are plenty of species of life on this wide earth that have no need for it. They just exist as they're designed to. They just follow the steps of the dance their kind has been doing since they've been a kind. The humans, we have this deep-seated desire to leave a mark of some kind, to create, to destroy, to enact change upon the world around us. It's been the source of our madness, the pinnacle of our achievements, and our greatest character flaw simultaneously. So what is the difference? What's the seed planted in our consciousness that urges us to look outside of ourselves, as though we are not enough as we are? It's our biggest pretend. The difference between us and all the other living beings that scurry around this planet not searching for a higher meaning is our long-standing collective belief in separation. We believe that we are separate from the divine that is our source and our truth. We believe that we're separate from one another. Although we share 99.9% the exact same DNA blueprint, doesn't matter what you look like, where you're from. We believe that we are separate from the natural world. And so we misuse and mistreat this incredible gift of a living planet because it's not our problem. It is, but boy, the blinders are big. If you were to ask Myrtle and Charles Fillmore what sin is, this is the answer they would give you. This deeply embedded pretend that any separation exists between the divine and the human. If you were to ask Buddha what the root of all suffering is, the answer would be the same. At the root of all metaphysical and mystical study is the same simple truth. There is no separation between all of existence, not between the divine and us, not between the spiritual and the physical, not between opposing ideological groups. Whatever separation is perceived on any side, it is one that someone, somewhere, somewhen, made up, and it has simply stuck, like bad ideas tend to do. This is the incredible power of imagination, the creative realm of possibility that we all have access to, and that limitless fountain from which all ideas spring. This is the Christ consciousness, the I am, the logos, the divine idea which contains all ideas. Our ability to imagine our reality is what shapes our experience and often helps shape the experience of others. Incidentally, this is also where pretending comes from. And while small-scale pretending can be healthy and even transformative, pretending on a cosmic, metaphysical, collective scale has extensive rippling ramifications if not approached with what Jesus would have called a childlike sense of wonder and curiosity. This is because when we begin to really believe in limitations that don't truly exist, we fetter ourselves spiritually. And that restraint can manifest in physical ways too. In many classic Unity teachings, this self-imposed limiting belief that tethers us in that perceived separation is referred to as bondage. And the whole point of our awakening to our spiritual truth is to be freed from that bondage consciousness. But how do we accomplish that freedom? What sacrifice must we make to liberate our collective and individual consciousness from a pit that we created? Well, first, we have to acknowledge that we are in a pit. That's the hard part. If we don't acknowledge our own limiting beliefs, then we cannot possibly hope to be rid of them. It's the old adage that one must admit a problem exists before confronting said problem. We can't climb out if we never see the pit for what it is. Okay, so now we've ripped that Band-Aid off and soul-crushingly admitted our own self-imposed imprisonment in a farcical jail. Great. My own personal tendency at this point in the process is to immediately start to dwell in shame and regret and fixate on all the lost time and experience spent sitting in that pit. You mean I could have gotten out at any time? Anytime? Well, great. Think of all the things I missed out on because I let myself get caught up in my own limiting beliefs. At the risk of sounding like a clickbait ad, don't do this. Don't do this one thing. Whatever your personal tendency is at that moment, don't let old patterns of thought, the ones we just decided we're missing the mark, those ones, don't let those take back over and throw you back in the pit. We all do it sometimes, but recognizing it and becoming aware of it is a fantastic first step to doing it far, far less. You don't have to be perfect about it. But now that we've acknowledged our pit, rather than dwelling in guilt or anger or sadness or whatever your pattern tends to be, now is the time to practice acceptance. And I put acceptance in caps. It's important. This is the radical idea that once you accept something how it is, rather than clinging to expectations of how you think it should be, you immediately take all the power back from it. It's yours now. You're no longer burdened by your attachment to the outcome of the situation, so you're no longer bound by it. Acceptance doesn't mean just rolling over and letting life take you for a ride. No, it's changing your mind as to how you think of yourself in relation to the experience of life. You're not your circumstances. You are a divine human expression of God. And as such, you recognize that the time you spent in the pit wasn't wasted. You find the grace and opportunity for growth in that challenging time. Because you know that even though you got lost in your pretend, as Junie will tell you, it happens. The truth is, you were never separate or limited. And even in the pit, you were being held in love and divine order. And now you're on the other side of that experience, and you can move forward more freely for it. This is where faith lives. This trust in the process as a single piece of a bigger puzzle. With faith, we can place that puzzle piece on the board, knowing it has a place and a purpose, rather than being confused and bewildered by this awkwardly shaped piece that seems to completely disrupt our entire vision of what the end product should look like. This process is the repentance Jesus spoke of so often. We just talked about this in class, and it hit perfect for this time. So I dug in. This is the key to the kingdom of heaven that he was talking about. The Greek word that is translated as repentance is the word metanoia, which literally means to change one's mind. Jesus so deeply understood the power of the mind to sculpt a person's reality, and he knew that in order to reach the kingdom of heaven, which he told us in Luke 17, is not a place outside of us, it is within us. But you have to change your mind. Here's the thing. If you change what you think, that will change what you believe. And if you change what you believe, that will change your actions. And if you change your actions, then you are literally changing the way you express and interact with the world around you. But it all begins within us, within the realm of our minds. So now we've acknowledged our limiting beliefs, graciously accepted the past, ourselves, and the current situation for what they are, and changed our minds, thereby connecting to the truth, this kingdom of God within us and within all things. Which begs the question, can we stay in this place? This peaceful consciousness that is the kingdom within? I'd be lying if I said in this time, in this place, we could simply hunker down and stay there once we've gotten there. We all still have to live our lives, and there will always be circumstances that test and challenge us. It's not a box we can just check off. It's a state of energy, of consciousness. And if we know anything about energy and consciousness, it's that they are constantly in flux, not just within us, but in the world around us. That doesn't mean we have reason to lose hope, though. Thankfully, we have constant reminders to reconnect and retune our conscious minds to recenter in the truth of oneness. No, not a reminder on your phone, but that could be useful in this capacity. I know I use mine as a second brain. I'm referring to the actual physical, natural world we live in. The constant movement of energy in this universe is not lost on us because we see it every day in the changing seasons, in the life cycles of all beings, and in the simple turning of the spheres that brings us the beauty of a breathtaking sunset. Nature is the blueprint, the physical mirror to the spiritual movement of this energy. And that includes the energy within each of us, because we are the physical mirror, the physical expression of the divine. You see what I'm doing? Energy moves in a couple different ways, which I usually refer to as masculine and feminine. Now, that has nothing to do with gender expression. It's just talking about the energy's pattern of movement. And these are not my terms. These have been around for a long time. Expanding, upward, active energy is masculine, just as contracting, downward, receptive energy is feminine. And this movement is always happening in the natural world. We can observe it at any time if we stop and pay attention, stop and smell the roses, as it were. Yet its profound innate wisdom is lost on us, as long as we believe that we're separate from it. And we're back to our big pretend. Believing that the divine is separate from the physical has caused us to seek to detach the two. Believing that complete separation of our divine spirit from our human body is the pinnacle of spiritual achievement. But that hasn't worked for us. not for the thousands of years that we've attempted to do so and failed spectacularly, thereby deepening our own belief in our unworthiness as human beings. It's a self-fulfilling cycle of guilt and shame, struggle and suffering that we've come to believe is just the inescapable nature of our existence. This idea of human nature just doesn't work for me, though. And the deeper into my studies I get, the less it seems to be true and real. And more it feels like a pretend that could be done away with in favor of a healed, whole, compassionate humanity, one in touch with and integrated into its divine nature of oneness. But this integration cannot be done across the board all at once, not in a way that will last. Things that burn hot and fast like that tend to burn out hot and fast. So that just doesn't seem like a good pattern to follow. It must begin, in order to stick, it has to begin within each of us, each shining the light of understanding and love into the darkest corners of ourselves, acknowledging, accepting, and integrating all parts of ourselves into the wholeness of our being. Will we still struggle? Absolutely. But the difference will be in how we feel and respond to that struggle. Rather than suffering through as victims of circumstance, powerless to change our situation, we could be empowered, fully realized humans, conscious of and accepting our capacity to not only endure any hardship we find ourselves in because we are rooted in our divinity, but to glean wisdom from the experience and grow through it. We could think of struggle as a teacher rather than a yoke, and suddenly we have changed our minds, repented as it were, and in doing so changed our belief about the very nature of struggle and its relationship to us. This is faith again, folks, and this is the power that keeps us going when we're going through it. And everybody is going through it right now. Look around. Remember the first time I spoke up here when I spoke about compassion? That compassion is another source of power and requires real strength to wield. It is so easy to meet opposition with resistance, but so much more difficult to meet it with softness, openness, kindness, and love. But the more we integrate into our own wholeness, the easier it is to see the truth of wholeness in others. Not only that, but when we hold others in wholeness and compassion, it begins to illuminate the truth for them as an individual. Love and compassion catch like fire, and we are torchbearers, as Myrtle said all those years ago. And as we illuminate the area around ourselves, those we meet will find that they also hold a torch, and now it is lit. And so our own healing and acceptance of ourselves, warts and all, not with conditions, unconditional acceptance and love, is the necessary beginning and foundation for healing on a collective scale. And there might be some people looking back on the achievements and innovations of humanity that were seemingly birthed out of struggle and survival, the Industrial Revolution, for an example, and wondering how such things could have been accomplished without the need to overcome some kind of suffering. Well, I would argue that the creative nature of humanity is innate, and it's not dependent on external factors. We're gonna want to create. That's what we do. We are mirrors of our creator, thus we want to create. And we would be capable of those same incredible feats of discovery and invention and ingenuity with a collective consciousness of connection and oneness, with the added benefit that compassion is now a guiding foundational principle that we all live by. I do not believe that we are stagnant monolithic beings, only capable of being what we are with no hope of becoming more. We absolutely hold the potential to be so much more than we are now, but to grow and evolve as a collective, we must periodically shed parts of our expression that no longer work for us, allowing them to decompose in peace. It's hard sometimes. We get really comfy in that old skin. It's warm, it's worn in, it's smooth. We know where we are, we know what's happening. But at some point, it is going to constrict us, and we are going to have to let it go. Like the autumn foliage, we must slough off these parts, as maintaining them any longer would be a detriment to our well-being. The tree knows when to let the leaves go. We need to learn. This is that movement of energy that we touched on earlier, and the contracting, receptive, downward phase of it is just as valid and necessary as the upward, active, and expanding phase. Like the earth itself, we must also take periods of rest and reflection. Who we are is not who we were. We are only ever expressing in the present moment, constantly in flux and flow, and ever capable of change and growth. In this knowledge and understanding of our wholeness and divinity, when we really wrap our minds around it and embody it in our fullest expression, we kind of lose that itch to feel special that I mentioned at the beginning. When we realize the truth of our existence as individual, unique expressions of divine mind, we find that we're satisfied in ourselves. We no longer see ourselves as separate islands of humanity, but as threads in a tapestry, interconnected and interwoven with countless other threads to create an ever-expanding and evolving composition of beauty and brilliance. The magical thing about being alive isn't just the vastness of the universe around us, or the depth of our own souls, the capacity we carry within us to create, or even the truth of our divine nature. The magical thing is that we are individual, uniquely expressing physical manifestations of the divine that exist only here and now as we are. Think about that. We are all living expressions of the creative force that gives life and being to the entire universe, the principle that fuels and creates all things seen and unseen. Knowing this, how much more special would we like to be exactly? I ended it on a question.
It's a good question.
It's a good question. Yeah. And I have a thing for the kids. You want to send Julian? You can go, choose one. No, that's okay.
I'm here, Mom.
You're here. Thanks. You're going to be my little helper. You know what that is?
Leaves.
Yeah. Do you know? Well, here, let's see. Maybe I can take this over here and we can talk. Do you know why they change color and fall off?
Because of coronel.
Because of what? Chlorophyll. That's a good start. So when the weather starts to get cold, the tree can't keep these on anymore, because if the tree is trying to stay alive through the cold weather and it tries to keep its leaves on, it's not going to have enough to get through the winter. And so it gets rid of the leaves because it's not going to be able to take care of them anymore. And we get to enjoy them being pretty and falling down. But then all of the energy from the tree goes into its roots. So that way it can they kind of sleep for the winter, don't they?
Yes.
So we're kind of the same way. Sometimes we have parts of us, like these leaves, that we can't really use anymore. We can't really do anything with them anymore, but we're still carrying them around. Do you think we should do something else?
No.
No? You want to carry around the parts that don't work no more?
No, I'm just kidding.
What should we do with the parts that aren't working for us anymore?
Should let them go.
That's right. That's right. And there is some beauty in that process, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Like when leaves fall down from the trees.
That's right. It's fun too. Yeah. You want the leaf?
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. Thanks for being my little helper.
Help break up the rest of them in the yard, too.
Yeah, right?
So she can jump in them.
Right?
Good luck.
What's up here? What are you doing with the slides?
I steal.
You're stealing them? Why are you stealing them?